Samurai have always been seen as some of the coolest warriors in history. People are fascinated by their culture and stories, and that interest has lasted for generations. Whether in TV shows, movies, or books, samurais have always been an exciting source of inspiration, and video games are no different. But what are the best single-player samurai games you can buy? For this list, we're focusing on games that really let you experience what it's like to be a samurai. Before we go into the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Okay, let's get into the video. Katana ZERO is a game that takes its inspiration from titles like Hotline Miami, but refines the one-hit kill formula in exciting and innovative ways. Set in a neo-noir world, players take control of a mysterious samurai who has the ability to manipulate time, using his powers to execute precise and brutal assassinations. Each level is presented as a planning stage for an assassination. Instead of simply restarting when you fail, the game rewinds the action through the protagonist's precognition, offering you another chance to find a solution that avoids death. The gameplay gives you a variety of options to dispatch enemies, from slashing in 8 directions to slowing down time and reflecting bullets back at your foes. The game's unique visual style perfectly complements its action, helping it stand out from other indie titles. Coupled with an outstanding retro-electro soundtrack, the game's presentation matches its fast-paced, neon-lit world, making the experience even more immersive. For those looking for a quick, intense fix, Katana ZERO delivers in spades, and it's easy to see why players will be eagerly awaiting the next chapter from the developers at Zero. The story of For Honor is divided into 3 chapters, each focusing on one of the factions. The Samurai campaign, in particular, takes players deep into the lore of these noble warriors. Set in a beautifully crafted world inspired by feudal Japan, the campaign follows the tale of Tozen, a skilled samurai leading the resistance against the tyrannical warlord Apollyon. The story captures the essence of samurai culture, including their unyielding code of honor and their unmatched combat skills. The samurai regions in the game feature breathtaking environments, from lush bamboo forests to ancient temples set against snow-capped mountains. These landscapes, combined with detailed character models, bring the samurai world to life. The authenticity of the armor designs, weapons, and cultural elements shows Ubisoft's dedication to crafting a rich and believable world. While the single-player campaign may not be the game's primary focus, it serves as an excellent introduction to the lore and mechanics of For Honor. Samurai enthusiasts will appreciate the attention to detail and the opportunity to embody the role of a legendary warrior. The campaign's battles are cinematic and intense, offering a glimpse into the honor-driven mindset of the samurai faction.
I will carry the barrel.
Developed by Lemimi Games and released in 2016, Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun has become a standout title for anyone who loves samurai lore and tactical gameplay. Set in the Edo period of Japan, the story revolves around a group of 5 skilled warriors, each with unique abilities, who come together to serve a mysterious shogun. The group must complete a series of dangerous missions to eliminate threats to the shogunate, including corrupt warlords and rebellious clans. Each mission is a meticulously designed puzzle where you must navigate through heavily guarded fortresses. Players are encouraged to use stealth as their primary tool, as direct confrontation often leads to failure. The game rewards careful planning and execution with the Shadow mode, allowing you to coordinate multiple character actions simultaneously for precise strikes. The game challenges you to think multiple steps ahead, as a single mistake can lead to disaster. For fans of tactical stealth games or anyone who appreciates samurai lore, Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun is an unmissable experience.
Yes, here. Oriashi. Need a distraction.
With amazing speed. I think. Let's not see that.
The Spirit of the Samurai stands out for its bold use of stop-motion animation, giving the game a unique handcrafted feel. It's rare to see stop-motion animation in video games, and the team at Digital Mind Games has done an impressive job creating a world that feels like a living diorama. The story is solid, with a strong focus on the legendary warrior Takashi and his journey to protect his village from the destructive Oni demons. It's a story of good versus evil, and the high drama really works thanks to the great voice acting and well-crafted CG cutscenes. The combat is fun and satisfying, especially when you start unlocking new abilities and combos. The combo system allows you to customize your attacks as you level up. The customization here is intuitive, and it gives you a sense of progression as you become more powerful and efficient in combat. The enemies in the game are tough. You can't just rush in and hope to win. Instead, you need to be strategic and careful in how you approach each encounter. The level design encourages you to take your time and think through your movements, especially when enemies spawn in waves. The game really rewards patience and smart decision-making, and that's something I really appreciated. Overall, the Spirit of the Samurai is a creative and memorable experience that's well worth exploring for fans of unique action games. From the creators of Doma, Genji is a fantasy game set in Japan, loosely based on the ancient Japanese book, The Tale of Genji. The game follows two heroes, Yoshitsune and Benkei, who work together to defeat the evil Heishi clan. The Heishi have taken control of Japan using powerful magical stones called Amahagan, which give them special powers in battle. Luckily, both Yoshitsune and Benkei also have Amahagan, giving them an advantage over their enemies. In the game, you move forward and face enemies that appear out of nowhere. The paths ahead and behind you are blocked, so you must fight to move forward. The combat is fast-paced and stylish, with the camera sometimes limiting your view. Moving around is quick, but you are often stopped by enemies. Genji also has a simple RPG system. You earn experience points for fighting well, and you can store items like armor, weapons, and health items in your inventory. These items can be bought or found during the game, helping you become stronger as you progress. While the game is short, lasting around 5 or 6 hours, it provides an enjoyable and immersive experience. If you love action games and want to explore ancient Japan, Genji Dawn of the Samurai is a great choice. Fate Samurai Remnant takes place during Japan's Edo period, which was a time when the country was moving from constant war to a time of peace. This change in history adds depth to the story, showing the struggles of samurai, especially the Ronin, who are stuck between the old ways of fighting and a new peaceful order. The story follows Miyamoto Iori, who is a Ronin and the student of the famous swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. Iori's journey from a lost Ronin to a key figure in the Holy Grail War is emotional and believable. While the main story is gripping, there are also many side activities to enjoy. Mini-games like blade polishing and statue carving might seem like small tasks, but they give valuable rewards that make the game more enjoyable. Visually, Fate Samurai Remnant does an excellent job of showing the beauty of Edo, Japan. The world is full of details, making it feel like you're really in that time period. The game is made even better by a strong main cast, interesting supporting characters, fun combat, an addictive gameplay loop, and a soundtrack that pulls on your emotions. Whether you're new to the Fate series or a longtime fan, Fate Samurai Remnant is an experience you don't want to miss. Samurai Warriors 5, developed by Omega Force, is a fantastic addition to the Samurai Warriors franchise, which is a spin-off of the Dynasty Warriors series. In this game, you'll step into the boots of some of the most iconic samurai warriors, like Nobunaga Oda and Mitsuhide Akechi, and experience key moments from the Warring States period. Players get to experience pivotal moments in Japan's history, from the rise of Nobunaga to the battles that would define the future of the nation. The gameplay is centered around the classic Musou formula, where players control powerful characters capable of defeating hundreds of enemies in a single combat session. Whether it's wielding a katana, spear, or dual blades, every weapon feels distinct. And the combo system offers a satisfying sense of progression as players learn to master each character's fighting style. As you play, you'll have to make important decisions during battles that could change how a mission unfolds. Whether it's deciding which path to take or how to deal with certain enemy groups, your choices can have a big impact on the outcome. On top of that, the game offers tons of side missions and objectives that encourage you to mix up your playstyle and explore different strategies. There's always something new to try, making the game fun and engaging each time you jump back in.
今川の本体が現れた。これで後戻りはできなくなったな。
The 2023 remake of Like a Dragon Ishin takes the beloved Yakuza series formula to new heights by setting it in the dramatic final days of Japan's Edo period. Originally a 2014 spin-off, available only to Japanese audiences, this refreshed version brings the action-packed world of Yakuza to a global audience. Like a Dragon Ishin introduces a refreshing mix of swordplay and gunfights, adding an exciting twist to the series' traditional brawler combat. The game offers 4 distinct fighting styles, each catering to different approaches, from traditional sword techniques to chaotic combinations of blades and bullets. While the game's story unfolds in 1860s Kyoto and features characters inspired by real historical figures, it retains the unmistakable charm of the Yakuza series. Sakamoto Ryoma, the game's protagonist, is a disgraced Ronin on a mission to avenge his mentor's murder. Fans of the series will instantly recognize Ryoma as a stand-in for Kazuma Kiryu. The story had me captivated from start to finish, and it provides a fascinating, albeit fictionalized, look at a pivotal period in Japanese history. The game expertly combines intense drama with the over-the-top action fans expect, making it a gripping experience throughout. Set in feudal Japan, Trek to Yomi follows the story of a young samurai named Hiroki, who is forced to confront his deepest fears and the darkest corners of his soul after a brutal attack on his village. The game opens with Hiroki's master, who trains him in the ways of the sword and teaches him about duty and loyalty. However, when disaster strikes, Hiroki is thrust into a world where he must uphold the samurai code, even if it means facing insurmountable odds. The game is a visual masterpiece, heavily inspired by the look and feel of classic samurai films, especially those directed by Akira Kurosawa. Every frame in Trek to Yomi is carefully crafted, making it feel like you're playing through a black and white movie. Combat in Trek to Yomi is satisfying in its simplicity. Players will need to master the art of parrying and counterattacking, as enemies come in all shapes and sizes, from human warriors to supernatural threats. The game features a rich array of swordplay techniques that allow for both aggressive and defensive styles of combat. Each encounter requires careful planning, as Hiroki's abilities are tested against increasingly difficult foes. Way of the Samurai 4 is a unique action-adventure game that immerses players in the life of a wandering samurai navigating the chaos of 19th century Japan during the opening years of the Meiji era. Set in a fictional port town called Amihama during the late Edo period, the game begins as Japan is opening its borders to Western influences. As a player, you control a nameless samurai who arrives in Amihama seeking a quiet life, but quickly gets caught up in the local conflicts between the Japanese and foreigners. Players can engage in duels or larger-scale battles, where quick reflexes and mastery of different combat techniques are essential. Unlike many action games, where attacks are often repeated in combos, Way of the Samurai 4 emphasizes precision and adaptability. Players can choose between different fighting styles, from quick agile attacks to slower, more powerful strikes. Instead of following a linear story progression, Way of the Samurai 4 offers players a range of missions that can be approached in various ways. Missions often present multiple objectives and allow players to choose how they want to accomplish them. This gives the game a lot of replay value since you can approach the same mission in different ways each time. Onimusha Warlords, released in 2001 for the PlayStation 2, is one of the standout titles that captures the essence of samurai action, set against the backdrop of a supernatural battle between good and evil. Set during Japan's Sengoku period, Onimusha Warlords follows the story of a skilled samurai named Samanosuke Akechi. The story begins with the abduction of Princess Yuki by the evil warlord Nobunaga Oda, who is turned into a monstrous demon. Samanosuke is tasked with rescuing the princess and preventing Nobunaga's evil plan to take over Japan. The core of the gameplay revolves around swordplay and combos, with Samanosuke using his katana to slay countless enemies throughout his journey. After defeating certain enemies, Samanosuke can absorb their souls, which can be used to enhance his abilities and weaponry. The game introduces elemental magic, such as fire and ice, which is essential for solving puzzles and defeating tougher enemies. For its time, Onimusha Warlords was a technical marvel, with impressive pre-rendered backgrounds and highly detailed character models. The art direction blends traditional Japanese aesthetics with the darker, supernatural elements of the story, while creating an engaging visual experience that perfectly complements the game's tone. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is a critically acclaimed action-adventure game developed by From Software and directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki, who is the mastermind behind Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Released in 2019, Sekiro stands out from the studio's previous works with its more focused narrative and its unique take on samurai combat. The game follows Sekiro, also known as the One-Armed Wolf, who is tasked with rescuing his kidnapped lord Kuro and seeking revenge on the samurai who wronged him. Along the way, Sekiro faces a variety of enemies, each challenging his skills, all while uncovering deeper secrets about Kuro's bloodline and the supernatural forces at play. At its core, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is all about combat, and the game features one of the most intense and rewarding battle systems seen in recent years. Unlike From Software's previous titles like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, Sekiro puts a strong emphasis on precision and timing. The game's parry system is crucial and takes center stage in Sekiro's combat. Players are encouraged to master perfect timing, as blocking an attack at the right moment will not only prevent damage, but also leave enemies open for devastating counterattacks. This mechanic demands skill and precision, which is why the game is notorious for its high difficulty.
Sekiro
貴様らは終わりだぞ
The story of Rise of the Ronin is set in Japan during the late 1800s, a time called the Meiji Restoration. This was a period when the country was going through big changes, with traditional samurai, foreign influences, and revolutionaries all clashing to shape Japan's future. You play as a Ronin, which means you're a masterless samurai. You're caught in the middle of all this chaos, and it's up to you to decide how to navigate these struggles. The game is made by Team Ninja, the same team behind games like Nioh, so you know the combat is going to be intense and really well done. It focuses a lot on sword fighting, but also brings in firearms, which were becoming common during that time. Ronin's journey is defined by choices that shape the character's fate and influence the story. The game focuses heavily on moral decisions, where the player must decide whether to honor the samurai code or embrace more ruthless approaches. These choices affect relationships with other characters and the overall direction of the narrative. When it comes to samurai games, few titles capture the essence of Japan's rich warrior culture and folklore as brilliantly as Nioh 2. Developed by Team Ninja and released in 2020, this action-packed RPG is a prequel to the critically acclaimed Nioh. Set in the late 1500s, the game's story unfolds in a war-torn Japan teeming with yokai and samurai warriors. You play as Hyde, a half-human and a half-yokai protagonist, who embarks on a journey to uncover the secrets of their past while battling fearsome foes and shaping the fate of the country. The narrative is steeped in Japanese folklore and blends with real-life historical figures like Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi with mythological elements. At the core of the gameplay is the stance-based combat system, which allows players to choose from different stances to match the flow of battle. Each stance offers unique advantages, and mastering them is key to surviving the game's numerous battles. The yokai, drawn from Japanese folklore, are not only visually striking, but also offer a range of combat challenges. Each yokai type has its own unique abilities and weaknesses, and players are required to adapt their combat strategies accordingly. In the world of action-adventure games, Ghost of Tsushima stands out as a shining example of what it means to capture the heart and soul of samurai culture. Developed by Sucker Punch Productions, Ghost of Tsushima immerses players in a beautifully realized world based on feudal Japan during the Mongol invasion of Tsushima Island in 1274. Set during the Mongol invasion of Japan, Ghost of Tsushima tells the story of Jin Sakai, a young samurai whose life is upended when the Mongols attack Tsushima Island. When the Mongols, led by the ruthless Khotun Khan, invade Tsushima, Jin's traditional ways of combat are no longer enough. In a world where honor is everything, Jin begins to adopt unconventional combat methods, even embracing the role of a ghost to defeat the invaders. The combat system in Ghost of Tsushima is a blend of traditional samurai swordplay and stealth mechanics. Players can engage in one-on-one duels with enemies, use a wide range of weapons, and perform devastating combos. The katana, the primary weapon in the game, is used in fast-paced, elegant combat sequences that make players feel like true samurai warriors. In addition to the main story, Ghost of Tsushima offers a variety of side missions that deepen the world and provide opportunities for further exploration. The game's world is rich with lore, allowing players to uncover the history of Tsushima Island, its people, and the Mongol invasion. That's a wrap on our list of the best samurai games. From epic sword fights to captivating stories set in feudal Japan, these games truly bring the samurai experience to life. Let me know in the comments which game is your favorite, or if I missed any great ones. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content on the best games. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.